to get with a white woman because I was scared she might have me running down the street like Jonathan Majors.
Come on, Katt.
Not because I didn't like white women. I think white women are as great as any other women. But I'm not going to act like I'm not scared of them. I have a reason to be scared. You could be Kang the Conqueror, and they could take your rabbit ass down in 2 weekends.
Hey guys, welcome to Little Blackbird 91. Listen, we're talking to you guys obviously about the Shannon Sharpe situation. If you don't know what that is, here's a little clip because he did actually talk about it real quick on the show. Here's a little clip of what he said. All right, we'll play a little clip.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey, Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about. And I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do.
Well, hey guys, listen, it's a real situation. I think there's many angles to the situation. Well, one, first and foremost, the main angle is that obviously I do think it's a bit of a shakedown, right? But I want to address another angle, which is first and foremost, he's 56 for a 19-year-old. It's never gonna look good. She's barely legal, nigga. Sorry, I said nigga. She's barely legal. We have to just keep it a buck. She is barely legal. Now, morally, this can be called into question. Legally, this isn't an issue, right? Because she's above the age. But morally, she'll have an issue. But let's say she wasn't this young person. Let's say she was an older person. Then the beef would be more about the fact that he's a black man, she's a white woman, and she's trying to shake him down. But I can understand why for a lot of women, this is a problem because it's a power play. It is a power dynamic between someone who's 19, someone who's as old as he is. Now, of course, it was consensual. And therefore, because she is of the legal age, she's able to make her own decisions. So this is not going to go to court about someone's age. But I can understand the moral argument here that at this age and her age, probably don't want to be messing around with those kind of things. Leave that for the people at her age and her particular generation, right? Mess with people that are your age. Someone like Shannon Sharpe has limited resources. He could find women his particular age who are going to keep it calm. Now, Katt Williams obviously said something to him about this. Monique said something to him about this. And do you know what I always find? It's always interesting that, especially coming from a Christian perspective and coming from somebody who's obviously dabbled in sex and had a lot of partners in the past, right? You get warned. It's like God wants to let you know this is not something you should be doing. There's always a warning that comes before the storm hits. Do you get what I'm saying to you? Like you feel the warnings coming through. People tell you certain things, or you see other things happening with other people, and it leaves as a warning. But sometimes you are so stubborn and hard-headed, you need to learn through your own experience. And I think Shannon Sharpe needs to learn through his own experience. I think he needs to see it for himself now. And I'm not talking about white women. I think that white women are not the issue here. You can get shaken down like this with a black woman, but I'm saying the issue really here is the fact that she's a young-ass girl. Okay, and then you're involving yourself in this play, right? But we've seen this with a lot of athletes. It doesn't have to be a young girl. It can be a girl that's same age as you, whatever. But so long as you're an athlete of someone of status of power, you've got to move differently because actually people have ill intentions. My friend told me this once, and I really didn't believe them. One day I saw it. I said, oh my God, because you don't think about it. You really do believe that you're invincible, and you really do believe that someone doesn't have such ill intent towards you that they would try to harm you in that way. But because you haven't seen it, you don't realize that people are out there to get you. Now, am I saying this girl's out here to get him? I think there's a bit of a shakedown here. Tony Busby thing. I think there's a bit of a shakedown here. You know what I'm saying to you? I think the way that things have been crafted and messaged, I think there's a bit of a shakedown. But the reality of the situation is he shouldn't have been there in the first place. That would have prevented the whole situation going down. If he wasn't there in the first place, dealing with someone who's 19, we wouldn't be having this particular conversation in this particular format. Because like I said, I think anyone can do this at any age, right? As we see with some of the basketball players. But again, this comes back down to, fidelity and also the conversation around marriage, because a lot of people are having a conversation around marriage and it's saving you. Marriage ain't gonna save you, because the Bible talks about, obviously, yes, if you are burning, marry, but what you also must understand is that if you're not fidelitous, if you're not someone who's faithful, you're going to cause yourself even more issues. You'll still be here where Shannon Sharpe is, right? The whole point is discipline. And it's hard because, again, especially if you're a man of means, you have access to women in a way that other men don't. You have access to women in a way that other men have never dreamed of. There are women who are literally lining themselves up to be in your hotel, to be around you, to like you. You know what I'm saying to you? Just even doing this little bit of YouTube, you'll see how people will move towards you. It's different, right? It changes things. But that's where discipline comes in. And honestly, it's so difficult. But you don't want to learn it the hard way. You know what I'm saying to you? Like I said, once you learn the hard way, you realize that it's really not worth it, right? The age thing is crazy. That's this madness. I really can't fathom that myself, with a 40-year gap between myself and someone. Like, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying to you? Because there's now also a power imbalance which creates between the person and yourself. And I get it. You know, I can understand why there's going to be backlash on that, because again, it seems like there's this young, naive individual person, which I don't think that's necessarily the case, right? But there is this aspect component of she being that young. Doesn't matter how consenting she is, there's going to be this power dynamic which is going to create an imbalance for Shannon Sharpe. And that's going to be the biggest issue, especially as now as a race component, that him being this black man as well as a prominent figure, and her being an OnlyFans creator as a white woman, there's going to be those issues there, right? It's going to be the issues in terms of, again, is he leading her on? Is he grooming her? Like, and he actually spoke about this on his podcast, actually, ahead of time. And it's almost like he knew it was coming, you know? Not that necessarily he knew it was coming, but almost speaking about it, it's preempted this particular aspect. And the consequences of this is because also it's not a relationship, number one. Number two, even if it was a relationship, people have some way about it because she's still young aspect. Like, I get it. I know no matter how much we flip it and twist it, the age is going to play a role. No matter how, even if he was to date her and marry her, we'd look at it being like, damn, bro, what have you got to do in each of us age groups? If I spoke about Chase Ellis' situation, I'll go to my Shannon Sharpe. What is the reason for why you want to deal with somebody who's 19 at 56? Okay, at 56. Do you know what I'm saying to you? Like, at that age as well, with her and you, you know, the aspect might be that fact that emotional attachments, the way that she deals with relationships, the way she even deals with the concept of this relationship with somebody who's much more older, ain't gonna be the same way a grown-ass individual is gonna be. This is never gonna end well. It's never gonna end well. All right. And now they're exposing it, and Tony Busby's doing what Tony Busby do best, trying to take another black man down. Yes. But then the question that leads to is, could he take you down if you weren't in that place in the first place? Now, my twist on this situation is this. I don't think it's by chance that the leak video of Michelle happened on Instagram. I don't think it's by chance. There is something nefarious happening underneath this. I don't think it's by chance that now this is happening when he gets a 100 million deal as well. There is something, and again, maybe I'm being conspiracy theorist. There is something demonic happening underneath that, and I don't mean that in his favor. I'm saying about this seems like a play. We're seeing chessboard, and I'm seeing pieces being moved around. And you know, whenever I say the god of this world is Satan, when they show us these things, there's a reason. So it almost feels like someone has signed a contract, and now people are reclaiming on that contract. You know what I'm saying to you? It feels a little like that, you know, because we had the whole Michelle situation that blew up for Shannon Sharpe. Then his podcast blew up as well massively, which, by the way, is great and amazing. I'm not going to say he's amazing. He should be where he is. And now we've got this situation too. Something is afoot, and we're learning certain lessons. If Katt Williams was here, I'm sure he would prophesy again once more. You know what I mean? There's something going on, and I think it goes beyond just this particular aspect. There is something nefarious happening behind the scenes that we cannot be privy to as of yet. But Shannon Sharpe should learn a lesson. 19, way too young. I would not advise anybody to be in that space. But anyway, listen, like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification uploads. We appreciate you guys. Still up, still loaded. We'll let you know. Follow us for more videos.